Carlos Alcaraz defends himself after criticism. The Spanish tennis player has spoken out about his defeat against Djokovic at the Australian Open, just before starting the Rotterdam tournament. Carlos Alcaraz is about to begin his journey in the Rotterdam tournament, where he hopes to secure his first title of the season after another setback at the Australian Open. The Spaniard was unable to defeat a struggling Djokovic in the quarterfinals, who had to withdraw from his next match due to a muscle injury. A match for which he has received a lot of criticism and which deprived him of the chance to win the only Grand Slam he lacks, although he still has the next edition ahead to achieve the record of being the youngest to complete the Grand Slam quartet. But before making his debut in Rotterdam, the world number 3 wanted to respond to these opinions that have cast doubt on him. "I don't feel like it was a missed opportunity against Novak," Alcaraz said in a press conference about what happened at the Australian Open. "I really wanted to win the tournament and felt that I could do it, but Novak played an incredible match. Facing Novak in the quarterfinals of a Grand Slam is the worst. It was quite a good match. I've tried to take the positives from that match and now I'll look ahead," explained the Mercian, who acknowledged that the Serbian is always a very tough opponent and that there's no need to dwell too much on it. Carlos Alcaraz faces many challenges in Rotterdam. Now, to prove once again that he is one of the best tennis players today and to silence all criticism, he must overcome several challenges in this ATP event. This tournament is played on an indoor surface, which is not particularly favorable for the Spaniard. He has already struggled on indoor courts in events like the Paris Masters 1000 and last year's Davis Cup. In fact, his second challenge is closely related to the Davis Cup since his first opponent is Botic van de Zandschulp, one of the members of the Dutch team that eliminated Spain from the tournament. Additionally, van de Zandschulp was his executioner at the US Open, knocking Alcaraz out of contention for the title, which was ultimately won by Sinner. The third obstacle he will face is the cold he is currently suffering from, which has made him feel dizzy and has affected his breathing during play, similar to what happened at the ATP finals. These are the challenges Carlitos will have to overcome if he wants to lift a title for which he is the favorite and put an end to the criticism once and for all. Carlos Alcaraz takes the first hit in Rotterdam. The Spanish tennis player suffered a setback upon his arrival in Rotterdam, a tournament that once snubbed him and that he had declined to play in recent years. Carlos Alcaraz is not having much luck in his return to the ATP circuit after the Australian Open, which will take place this Monday at the ATP 500 in Rotterdam. Despite being the top seed, the draw has not been kind to him, and he will debut against the opponent who convincingly eliminated him from the last US Open, Botic van de Zandschulp, who will also be playing at home. But if he overcomes this hurdle, he would presumably face one of the most informed players at the moment in the second round, Felix Auger-Aliassime, who is playing his second final of the year this Sunday at the Open Sud de France in Montpellier against Alexander Kovacevic. However, those are not the only setbacks the Spanish player has had to deal with, as he is expected to be the favorite and must defeat these two opponents, as well as Holger Rune or Roberto Bautista, who could be his quarterfinal rivals, and Andrei Rublev, Hubert Hurkacz, or Jiri Lehecka, who could appear on his horizon in the semifinals. Alcaraz's problems upon arriving in Rotterdam. The El Palmar native traveled sick to the ABN AMRO Open in Rotterdam, as he has been suffering from a severe cold over the past week, and he encountered a setback at Rotterdam Airport that delayed his arrival. After rescheduling his flight an hour and a half earlier, Carlos Alcaraz found himself stuck at the airport for over an hour due to an issue with his luggage. As expected with their star player, the tournament organizers had arranged an official car to transport him to the hotel and tried to compensate for these inconveniences with a series of gifts delivered by tournament ambassador Jan Koeman. The Mercian is not only the main star following Jannik Sinner's withdrawal but is also returning to a tournament that once snubbed him. According to ATP Rotterdam director and former Wimbledon champion Richard Krajicek, Alcaraz once requested a wild card for the tournament when he was not yet ranked high enough to enter the main draw, but he was denied. Perhaps that's why he chose to tour South America for several years instead of playing in the Netherlands. Sometimes things go well, sometimes they don't. In 2021, Alcaraz asked for a wild card to play in Rotterdam. "I preferred to give it to Andy Murray," Richard Krajicek said in the lead-up to the 2024 Rotterdam tournament. "You don't want that to happen again," telling the future number one no, added the former Wimbledon champion. Spain forgets about Carlos Alcaraz. The team led by David Ferrer passed their first Davis Cup tie with flying colors, where the Mercian declined to participate to avoid further overloading his schedule. After the failure at the Martin Carpena Stadium last November, which included Rafael Nadal's farewell, Spain had to start from scratch in their quest for the Davis Cup trophy. And they passed the first round with flying colors. David Ferrer faced the major issue of scheduling, which forced Carlos Alcaraz to skip playing for his country to avoid overloading his calendar, as the tie was scheduled between the Australian Open, where he had hoped to progress beyond the quarterfinals, and the ATP tournament in Rotterdam. Despite the absence of their main star, Spain secured a dominant 1-3 victory. Pedro Martinez and Jaume Munar sealed the win in the doubles match with a perfect 3-0 record, while Martín Landalus lost the final match against Remy Bertola. After achieving such a triumph with relatively inexperienced players in this competition, no one missed the immersion, neither on the court nor off it. I feel very satisfied right now. At the beginning of the week, none of us expected this tie to be decided before Sunday's doubles, so I couldn't be happier with the final result. We won all 3 matches, which is very special. In the end, we avoided any high-pressure situations on Sunday. The level was good, and we played an excellent doubles match, which ultimately secured Spain's victory, Pedro Martinez emphasized. Jaume Munar also shared his thoughts on the experience. This moment is very special, both for the team in general and for me personally. With Roberto Carbiez, for example, I've shared many moments throughout my career, but especially with Pedro Martinez, whom I've known since the U12 and U14 categories, all the way to winning the Junior Davis Cup. Then we moved on to U16 tournaments, most of the U18 events. We've practically been together since we started in tennis. This completes the circle, as we've played together in Grand Slams and the Olympics, so it's amazing. Finally, Captain David Ferrer praised his team and refused to speculate about the next round, which will take place in September and for which he cannot guarantee Carlos Alcaraz's presence. It's my first away tie as captain, and we got through it, better than expected, against all odds. Denmark in September? I don't know, honestly. Right now, we've just finished, and I want to enjoy this moment. We'll see how things look when September comes. What makes the Spanish coach most proud is the team spirit. The friendship between players helps a lot. The fact that the team knows each other well and has a good atmosphere is crucial. In my experience, to win the Davis Cup, or at least to be in the fight for it, you need not only great players but also a great team atmosphere. This always increases your chances. Ferrer believes that beyond individual talent, chemistry within the team plays a fundamental role in achieving success in team competitions like the Davis Cup. A cohesive group that supports and trusts each other can overcome difficult moments and find solutions to challenges on the court. According to him, when players genuinely enjoy spending time together, it translates into stronger communication, better synergy in doubles matches, and a shared sense of responsibility that drives everyone to perform at their best. Furthermore, he emphasizes that a positive environment also helps younger or less experienced players feel more comfortable, reducing pressure and allowing them to grow within the team. The support from seasoned teammates can be crucial in high-stakes matches, where mental strength often determines the outcome. Ferrer highlights that Spain has a history of achieving success in the Davis Cup, thanks to the unity and camaraderie that have characterized its teams over the years. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, because here at Tennis Zone, we are dedicated to bringing you the best content for the best audience. We offer in-depth analysis, exclusive interviews, and comprehensive coverage of everything related to the world of tennis. Join our community and experience the excitement of the tournaments with us. Plus, at Tennis Zone, we strive to bring you high-quality, up-to-date content on players, tournaments, strategies, and the most relevant events in the world of tennis.